Yes, welcome back everyone to another video on the Knockout Chronicles. We've got another stacked video here talking about all the news, rumours, all of the good stuff, so let's get into it. Gonna kick things off. We haven't got the laptop today, we've got the old trusty Google Pixel phone. it will do for today. So what we're going to be talking about, first things first, is Pacquiao Barrios rumours. Rumoured to happen on July 19th. I saw a graphic. The rumoured July 19th, like schedule for boxing, is insane. Got Dubois, Usyk Dubois. You've got the rumoured Zoo Fundora 2 rematch on the Pacquiao Barrios undercard. I don't know. I don't really agree with Pacquiao getting another shot at the title. He's old, he's a legend and stuff. I'm not sure, man. What is he, 46, 45? Could even be out. I think he might be 46. Just doesn't seem right, does it, that he's getting a title shot, especially the WBC title, one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious in boxing. So, you know, we think Barrios isn't the greatest fighter either, but you know, he's obviously closer to his best than probably what Pacquiao is, definitely. I'm not sure. I thought we could have got Ben Barrios maybe, probably a bit of a better fight as well. You know, he's actually active. He's actually had a win in the past 6 years. I mean, 2K's not had a win in a while, is he? But you know what I mean. Better than a 46-year-old Pacquiao, which hasn't had a win in 6 years. I love Pac-Man. I mean, I'll probably end up still watching it, but it just doesn't seem right, does it? Let's move on to Congolese heavyweight Martin Bakole. He's had some camp changes, or they're going to have some camp changes, according to Billy Nelson. I think this was an interview in Ring Magazine. I could be wrong, could be IFL, I'm not really sure. Yeah, so he's meant to be getting a lesson C coach and a nutritionist because he's getting slated of being too fat, and he probably is. You know, he's a big lad anyway, but I think he needs to be, what was he, 299.5 pounds big. That's a lot. You know, you saw it against Jack, but he couldn't cut off the ring properly because fucking he was too big. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I'm surprised he's not got a nutritionist or S&C coach. You know, he's probably top 10 heavyweight in the world, if not now. He was after that Anderson win, 100%. Probably even still is top 10, but we'll see. Yeah, and after that, you know, like, how hasn't he got an S&C coach? How hasn't he got one? That baffles me, but hopefully he makes some good changes. But I've heard he's vegetarian as well. Mark Bakole. I have no idea. Let's move on. I'm gonna have to go on box rec for this one. Talk about the Usyk Dubois. I'm gonna try and predict the undercard of Usyk Dubois 2. I've heard it's meant to be fairly good. Oh, my phone's frozen. Meant to be quite a good undercard. I've heard rumours of Joseph Parker being on there, Dillian White, obviously Ezra Taylor confident win this weekend on the Kakache Wood undercard. We'll get to the review in a moment. Could be on there against Louis Edmondson for the British and Commonwealth light heavyweight title. But I think Parker White is going to be on there. It's probably going to be that's going to be the co-main event. Obviously, there's not really much bigger fight than that for Queensbury that they can put as co-main. I'm going to go for that. I think. I just think it's probably. I don't know, what does Parker do? Does he maybe take this fight as a little bit of a fight, as a little bit of a cool down, considering the run he's had? He's had Wilder, Zhang, then Bakole. I know Bakole come in on a few days' notice, but I mean, he was going to do Dubois. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was going to be a tough run. It still was a tough run. Do we see a Coley out on that card? Probably not. I don't think. Maybe. Unless we see a Coley Parker. But other than that, I'm not really sure. Taylor vs Edmondson is probably pretty obvious now, I think. Unless they do Taylor Cameron. Liam Cameron, that is. But I've heard Liam Cameron is moving down to super middle. So maybe not that one. I don't know. I don't mind this one. I thought Ben Whitaker could have probably had Louis Edmondson next, but obviously they're both for the same promotion, Edmondson and Taylor, so it makes more sense to make this fight. I was thinking Moses Talma for the undercard. I know he fights in May, but if he gets through his opponent in devastating fashion, he could be out. for that, you know, no injuries, anything like that. Other fighters, could Ryan Garner return? Could they have, excuse me, see some of their prospects, Delicious Ori maybe coming to the card. They've got a lot, haven't they? Maybe Mark Chamberlain. But I think they'll have a few. Obviously London people. They'll probably obviously try and bring a few other people from up the country, and maybe even like Brian Gardner, bring him up technically as well, and bring some of the Northerners down to try and build a name for themselves. But I'm not really sure. Do we see Denzel Bentley on the undercard possibly? I'm not sure what's happening with him. He did beat Brad Pauls back in December, not fought since, so yeah, not really sure. I think it was a decent win, to be fair. So it was for the British, European, Continental, and International titles, the WBA Continental and the WBO International middleweight division. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But Denzel Bentley could be on there. Probably should be. You know, great event to be on. And they're trying to build it, or they built him up, but he's clearly on his way to something else, unless they're holding out for a world title shot. Fuck knows who with, but I have no idea what's happening with Denzel Bentley. Let's move on to another British promotion, Boxer, Sky Sports. Boxer's card is in just under 4 weeks, I think, with Callum Simpson, who is one of their main men, if not their main man at the minute. Yeah, obviously bar Chris Eubank Jr. obviously. They've got a card in Barnsley. There's Ivan Zuko. I have no idea. Never watched him, if I'm going to be honest. I think he should win this, Callum Simpson. He should, for the European title. I thought he was going to maybe put him in with Selecki or something like that. I thought that maybe that's the next step up. Maybe, I'm not really sure. Got Edwards versus Woodstock, not a bad fight in all fairness, did pretty good. Mark Jeffers still not had an opponent announced. You know, he's had some pretty nothing fights since Jack Shelley beating for the English title at Manchester. Had Jermaine Brown, not the worst. Darren Johnstone, Joshua Kwati, Ricardo Lara. He's having a lot of just keep busy fights, which is better than waiting out in all fairness. So when he does get the opportunity, the bigger one, he'll be sharp and ready. Frankie Stringer versus Kane Baker. Again, not a bad, decent test for Frankie Stringer. Definitely be the hardest test he's faced so far. Definitely. You've got Ellis Price on the undercard, who's not actually fought. Oh, he has, never mind. I don't think he fought. Never mind, ignore me. Red Johnson. If I'm honest, 100% sure who he is. Sam Hickey, I've obviously heard, one of their big prospects, boxers prospects. But the topic of conversation is, would they deal with Sky Sports? Will they renew? Will they not? I've heard that I think Ben Shalom hinted in an interview I watched at, they might renew. Yeah, it's like announcement imminent, so we'll see with that one. I'm not sure, their cards are pretty poor unless they reduce the schedule, but I mean their schedule's really pretty reduced at the minute. They don't get many shows in a year. It will be a shame because Sky Sports is a great platform to have boxing, but you never know if Boxer goes somewhere else, if they even go anywhere else, and they maybe have a new brand come in. I'm not really sure who. I mean, TNT Sports haven't got anyone in. I think they're probably done with boxing. They're probably more invested in football and everything else. But I think Sky Sports should keep boxing a thing. They should keep someone on there. Other British promotion thing, you've got Goodwin, you've got Nielsen, you've got GBM, obviously there with DAZN. Top Tier, unless you give Top Tier the deal, but they're with DAZN. But I don't know if the contract is permanent with them or it's just kind of like a per show bit. I'm really not sure. Unless you give Wasserman that gig, they give him more dates, offer them more dates. Not really sure. Maybe even a new promotion, who knows. But I think that's enough talk for the Sky Sports Boxer because it's still very uncertain of what's going to happen. Let's go to TKO Boxing. They've got their new ideas. And let me quickly whip this one up. Bear with me. Yeah, so TKO Boxing is planning to hold around 12 boxing events a year, with 1 to 4 of those events being huge super fights. They're also looking to rebrand with a new name. What do you think the name could be? I don't really know. Could literally be anything. Honestly, I have no idea. There's so many names. Hopefully it's a good one and nothing stupid. I'm looking forward to, obviously, apparently Canelo Crawford is going to be promoted by Dana White, and that's probably going to be their first event. Will be their first event. So just see where they go from there. Let's cap off the video. We're just over the 11-minute mark on my recording, so we're going to go and talk about the Adam Maka signing. I've heard good things about Adam Maka. Not really watched him. I didn't really get to watch much of the amateurs, if I'm being honest. I've heard he's a standout amateur. I've seen a bit of him versus one of the Birchall's, Leighton Birchall, I think. I first heard about him like properly. So yeah, he's got a box record of 27-4, probably more, because box rec doesn't count all of them. Yeah, very young, I believe. I'm not sure how young. Very young, but I think he's going to do really good things. I look forward to seeing how Matchroom can progress him. Really progress him. Wow. Maka's still only 17. Whoa. Surely not. 17 years old is insane. And he's signed with Matchroom. Hopefully they build him up really well, because he's definitely a bright prospect. Well, that is everything we've spoken about in today's video. More boxing news videos coming in the week, so I reckon we're just going to have loads more news, hopefully, so I can make a few more videos. And yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed. Like, share and subscribe, all of the good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.